Here we go. Welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, classic, non-classics. This is episode number 3074 and Doubleshot number 2968. First up, we have is She-Hulk, Volume 4, Laws of Attraction. This contains She-Hulk, Volume 2, Issues 713. Written by Dan Slott, artwork by, for the first two issues in this book, it's done by Will Conrad. Issue 8 is done by Paul Smith, who also does issue 9. I don't know why, I think basically it's inked by Joe Rosen. The remaining 4 issues are done by Ron Fritz and Sal Buscema. So, in issue 6, Star Fox shows up, and he does play a role in this book, where, get this, he apparently sleeps with somebody, and no, it's not Jen Walters. There's also been basically Jen representing Ben Grimm. You have her going to court, and you have her hang out with, and then all of a sudden in this book, by sheer randomness, I think why I think about the Kessler, and then John Jameson shows up, and I should point out, though, for a brief period of time, he becomes a supporting character in the She-Hulk book. And there's a reason for that. We see Two Gun Kid riding his flying motorcycle to work. She-Hulk basically beefs up. We have stuff with basically other people going on here. More Awesome Andy stuff. And then we have the Grizzly appear. Yeah, classic Jerry Comic character, the Grizzly. Now people know the fact that Jerry Comic created the Grizzly. If you're curious, when did he first show up? The original Clone Saga. Yep, that's where he first showed up. Where he was really working with the Jackal. Yes, he was there at the very start of it, then he basically disappeared at the more infamous stuff where the original Clone Saga basically happened. And there's stuff going on here. And of course, basically, they go to court, and being serious. Then you have Jen working out, and then all of a sudden her device that she was given by Doc Samson wears out. Yep, it doesn't work. So then, of course, we cut to a scene where Star Fox is basically here with She-Hulk and Captain America beating up Hydra agents with the Wasp. Yeah, it's all because of the fact that, yes, they do, in fact, the judge does agree that he is Agent Hydra. He could be lying, but, yeah, he's telling the truth here, and, it's a prosecutor. Actually, it's Jen Walter, so, yeah. And then we see testimony here from Hercules, Quasar, the Carol Danvers Miss Marvel, when she was Miss Marvel, before she became Captain Marvel. Monica, I believe Monica, but I think she was a Spectrum. I think she may have been still Proton at this point. Captain America, Tigra, Yellow Jacket, Wasp, and this is before the events of Civil War, which happens issue 9. Yes, issue 9 basically kicks off we have where Star Fox basically is beaten up by She-Hulk because I think he manipulated her. And then comes issue 8. I can't forget issue 8 basically. So, 8. So, in the book, basically, Jen Walters is representing 3 people in this book. There's stuff related to She-Hulk stuff. So, after She-Hulk spends time with Doc Samson and Doctor Strange, she ends up representing 3 full members, New Warriors. Basically, because the fact you have Rage and you have Justice here, who she ends up representing because people blame them for the Stanford Massacre, despite the fact that they are not responsible. The man responsible was a man named Nitro, a man who, almost 19 years later, has never been tried or convicted of the Stanford Massacre. And you're like, really? Yeah, really. No one in Marvel Comics in all this time has ever tried him for that. The fact that there was footage of this damn thing, and in universe, people hated the Warrior for some time because of the Stanford stuff. Readers know this was bullcrap, but Marvel ran with it because they apparently, in the 2000s, wanted to basically run where the Warriors were basically incompetent superheroes, and they caused Nitro to blow himself up. Readers probably noticed the fact this is bullcrap, and actually, no, the writer who did this was Mark Millar. So, the fact of registration thing, and the fact that basically, like, the whole thing of, like, basically, like, giving up the uniforms. You're getting unmasked. Here, stop it. Yeah, the man he unmasked because apparently they killed his grandmother. And in fact, they mutilated Nova's brother. This is before Sam Alexander, and this all relates to this. It's part of a minor storyline in the book where this little plot thread where like so they go after the people responsible for this website. And it turns out, thanks to, of course, Iron Man popping the book in because he popped up in the original She-Hulk book, so why not? So, yeah, it turns out the person responsible for this was a guy named Clarton Large, who apparently decided to do this because, well, according to Justice, he decided to blackmail himself on the team because he was going to out speedball. Yeah, we have, weirdly enough, slapstick is here. And then, of course, John Jameson shows up and proposes to Jen Walters. Yep, I kid you not. They get engaged and then they get married. Oh, by the way, they got married in Vegas, and then they replayed what happened in Civil War issue 2, where Spider-Man revealed his identity to the public. Which apparently I heard this is actually for publicity stunt. This was like a retcon thanks to One More Day. Yeah, okay. It's been a long time since this happened. What are my thoughts when this happened? How I think about this 19 years later about this particular thing. I thought this was a terrible idea. Simply because Spider-Man has a reason for keeping his identity a secret. Just because Tony Stark can have this in public does not mean everybody needs to. You want to know who is a notorious superhero? Like, the thing is, Spider-Man currently is one of the handful of superheroes in Marvel Comics whose identity is not publicly known. You're like, really? Yes, really. To my knowledge, the only people in Marvel Comics who are publicly known superheroes who do not identity known to the public is Spider-Man, the Sam Alexander Nova, and the Comic-Con Marvel. Where at DC, prior to the pre-Flashpoint, only a small handful of people had their identities publicly known. While Marvel Comics, it's pretty much almost the entire universe, people know who they are. What's the point? Basically, have a secret identity, we can just operate without a mask. Yes. One thing positive I can say in One More Day, they retconned this. Where they did say have what's wrong with your identity, but the only be Peter Parker. And then, of course, Jameson basically wants to sue him, but he can't because basically the whole thing with the registration. And then John and Jen get married in Vegas. And then, of course, you get the reaction from these fun people. Jameson, Pug, the Wasp. Everyone's like spitting because they got married. Doc Samson, Southpaw. Moore Walters, a.k.a. Jen's father. Two Gun Kid. Mr. Zix. Mallory Brooke. Who for some reason is in a bath with Andy the Android. Why? Just cuz? Yes. And then, of course, apparently that, we gotta meet the in-laws. Yes. Jen has dinner with John's father, who, and this is something Dan Slott did. Okay, so the J stands for John. His full name is John Jonah Jameson Jr. His father is John Jameson Sr. John Jameson, Jonah's son, is John Jonah Jameson III. That's his full name. Yep. And Marla's here too. Yeah, Marla and Jameson got married and ended for Web of Spider-Man. Yes. And here's the weird thing. Theirs is one of the very few marriages who's stuck intact for years. There was never any hints of these two ever splitting up at all. And the only way the marriage ended was because she died. She got killed by Alistair Smythe during the whole. This was the second Stork. This was Stork just after Spider-Man lost his Spider Sense. That's when she died. That was several years later. Of course, Slott did that. Of course, he also created Jameson's father. And he also, of course, so he gets angry. He's like, how about grandchildren with basically like Jen Walters? So he basically digs out an old Spider Slayer robot and proceeds to fight Jen Walters. And then, of course, she finds him very easily. And then they have a discussion where, of course, basically Jameson agrees to sue Peter. It doesn't get followed up with at all in the book. Yeah, and then, of course, you have Jameson and the Man-Wolf in these issues, and then becomes Star God. Yes, this is something from the Creatures Unknown, I think it was. Yeah, more stuff with him. Really interesting stuff here. We have stuff here with Jen basically being protected by her awesome husband, John Jameson. This continues for quite a while. And throughout a lot of these issues, basically, where he hangs out with Two-Gun Kid, has some fun with him. And of course, you have Mallory hanging out with Andy the Android. And for some reason, the editor, Dan Slott, does not put in the editor's note with the Star God thing, which is something She-Hulk did counter in the Savage She-Hulk book. So, at the issue 12, then we have a guest appearance by Cyville, the current Captain Marvel at that point. Yeah, she was the current Captain Marvel. This was, I think, just after, because she was the only Captain Marvel, because if I remember correctly, her brother got killed off in the Multiple Hunt, which happened, I think, just prior to this. He got killed off. He got killed by Baron Zemo by being basically destroyed. Yeah, in issue 100 with Thunderbolts. So, at this point, she became Captain Marvel. Well, she was already Captain Marvel at this point. Yeah, in universe, she became Captain Marvel. So her brother was still Captain Marvel. Because Jenville became insane. Yeah, and also the fact that she, get this. Did you know she once dated Marlo Chandler, Rick Jones' wife? That was something Peter David did. And then later on, she hooked up with Moondragon. And then she got killed off in the final issue of Dan Abnett and Andy Lenning's run for Guardians of the Galaxy. Prior to that, she became the Avatar of Death. Just cause. That's how with Liberty Tribune, the original one, not the current one. We have more stuff with Star God stuff here, which is more really good stuff. Two-Gun Kid gets bandaged up. Just a lot of fun stuff. Moondragon appearance here. And we see apparently looks like that Star Fox is being manipulated as usual. So, it's kind of revealed in this issue that apparently the reason why Jen married John Jameson was because Star Fox manipulated her. And then Thanos randomly shows up here. Yeah, his appearance was just complete. Oh, here's Thanos! Okay. And that's how it draws him. Yep. Complete randomness. He speaks to his father, and then he just does a little flashback with his brother, and then we have She-Hulk versus Thanos in issue 13 of this book. You're like, what? Yes. Excuse me, to get back to Earth. More fighting here with Thanos. At one point, she just restores Star Fox's mouth, and he starts taking on their women. She beats up, punches Thanos once again. And then basically the book ends with what now? And that's kind of the thing. What happens next? I'll talk about that for our next trade. Now, if you're curious, is this the end of Dan Slott's time on She-Hulk? I don't think so. Let me take a look here about this one. So let's see. She-Hulk. Excuse me. Not yet. I think it's going to be the very next trade. Yes. There's one more trade left to go for him, and then we switch over to Peter David's time in the book. The book itself was really good. I'm going to get the book roughly a 10 out of 10. The book was really good. Because a lot of us may enjoy the book. Next up we have is Fantastic Four, Volume 4, Fortune. Fortune, favor is fantastic. And this contains Fantastic Four, Volume 7, issues 18 to 22. Yep. Carlos Gomez does issues 18 and 20. The last two issues by Alvin Ferrari. With Alex Ross still doing the covers here. He leaves. I think these were his last issues. Let me take a look here about this one. I think these were his last issues he did the covers for. Because, of course, he left prior to issue 25. Let's see. He did do 23. He did 24. Okay, he did do 25. Actually, no, that was Joshua Crusoe who did that one. So, 24 was his last issue he did the cover for. So, as of current, I think the only book he does covers for is Immortal Thor. Oh, apparently he did Weapon X-Men. Yeah, he does this book, apparently. Yep. Yeah, he does. He did the first issue, but I don't think he does the rest. Because Immortal Thor makes sense because Thor's really good. Okay, so for Weapon X-Men, he just did the opening issue. He didn't do any more than that one. But as of currently, Immortal Thor is the only book he's working on. He he didn't do any more after issue 1. No, they replaced him with Criss Cross next issue. Yeah, so as of currently, he does Immortal Thor. Yeah, you're thinking, that's interesting. Yeah, he was still at the time these issues came out. This is basically the trade here. This is basically toward the end of his time doing the covers of the book. He was also doing Doctor Strange, which ended during these periods. Like, the last issue of Doctor Strange came out just after issue 22 did. So mostly put, it's just an issue focused on Johnny Storm, where they have a bunch of ghost stuff here. Lots of stuff happening, more sci-fi stuff. And we just have just some crazy happening. Of course, they're staying with Aunt Petunia. And then S.H.I.E.L.D. HQ. Yeah, S.H.I.E.L.D. currently now is a very small-scale operation, as big as once was. And it's headed by Maria Hill. And then we have issue 19, which is a noir-ass issue, where, get this, Alicia Masters is a PI, and Susan Storm, because basically she's not really the read here, where like, oh yeah, her boyfriend basically, and you're like, oh yeah, the egghead down ESU. Yep, he's gone missing, and she's wearing a red dress. And then we see Ben Grimm. This is, of course, I love this whole noir aspect here. It's so awesome. It's only for this one issue. Like, you go Devin Deviant's room, which is interesting. Yeah, great noir issue. I love it. He's even Johnny Storm with his mustache. Yeah, eventually it's all stuff related to Cosmic Cube, and then the very next issue is, get this. So, the Thing has become a employee at a store with John. I think he becomes a security guard. Then he gets basically like, this basically the whole issue is, oh, let's have it where Johnny Storm and Ben Grimm get various jobs. I'm like, interesting. Clear up messes. That's kind of what this issue is. It's them for employment. That's pretty much the entirety of issue 20. 21 is basically where an issue where, for some reason, we have Reed and Alicia hang out for a whole issue. And there's like these zombie stuff. Actually, it's like werewolves. Yes. And I think this is part of the Blood Ties tie-in, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, I think it was. This is basically Blood Hunt. Yeah, this is basically these two issues here are mostly put exactly what the Fantastic Four are up to during Blood Hunt. That's literally what these two issues are. And that's kind of what we had left here. They take on this thing called Structure, which basically just more vampires, from the pages of Moon Knight. Yes, Jed MacKay created these creatures, and well, after these two issues here, they later appeared in Blood Hunters Volume 2 as a recurring antagonist for the group. And that's it. Yeah, unlike in the case of She-Hulk, the She-Hulk book, which I found a lot of fun, this was okay at best. I like the Blood Hunt tie-in issues here, which was still pretty good. The Ben Grimm and Johnny Storm thing was funny. But they're just par for the course. But the next trade will probably feature the weird issue. Yes, because issue 25 features the weird issue where Johnny Storm sleeps with a centipede. Yes, Ryan North himself thought this would be a good idea to do. A bug girl. A frickin' centipede. It was by far one of the most weirdest ideas he ever had. Yeah, I'll talk about this next time whenever basically release this damn trade, because it is by far one of the most weirdest things I have ever read. And that this also deals, this month basically also had Ghost Rider riding in a wheelchair. You're like, what? Yeah, seriously. September was a weird month last year. Had some of the most bizarre comics come out. Like, oh, let's have an issue where the Kingpin gets possessed by the essence of one of the 7 deadly sins. Yes. It's like the best way you can describe September. It's a month of weirdness. And I'm going to leave it there at that. Yep. I'm going to end it here because basically I have a stream with you. So, by the way, I give this Fantastic Football, I give it an 8 out of 10. Best thing with these issues is the artwork. I love the artwork in this issue. Yep, so yeah, that's a good review. Please make sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications, and do this like button. There might be another comic corner later, but who knows, okay? Thanks for you. Bye.